Special guest Brittany Glynn. We're going to be talking about abstinence education with teens and maybe even some ways that the church has had some successes but also some failures. So Brittany, good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
This is one of those topics that I know makes parents squirm. The idea of having this sit-down conversation about your child with sexual purity being the key issue that they need to address is very uncomfortable, but it is so crucial.
Absolutely, and I think that unfortunately where we are right now, more and more parents need to start talking to their children at younger ages, obviously making sure that it is appropriate for their child's age, but if they keep putting it off, the child will learn about sex through different avenues. A recent study done by the Systematic Study showed that right now the average age that a child is actually starting to Google the word porn is the age of 7.
What? Ugh, that hurts my heart. What is it about our culture that has so misinformed our children about the allures of pornography and sexual exploitation that they're seeking after it?
Well, I mean, it's definitely the media. In fact, there's been a new report that's actually been released by the American Academy of Pediatrics describing their extreme concern about teenagers being properly educated about the dangers of sex. They said that they believe that the media is portraying sex in a way that is extremely dangerous and not at all accurate, that the media is playing the primary role in shaping how our children view sex. And they also said that they are going to be starting a campaign begging parents and teachers and role models to start speaking up and talk to the children and the teens in their life about sex and the risky consequences.
Now, how did you get involved in actively speaking about abstinence and purity? What was the motivation behind your involvement in this?
Oh, goodness, there's been so much motivation. I was brought up with some incredible parents that really encouraged me growing up and talked to me at age-appropriate levels about sex and the consequences. And so my decision at a young age to remain abstinent till married definitely played a role. And now as a parent of young children, especially after the systematic study was just released, it's extremely concerning to me. My oldest child is 4 years old. It's not very far off from 7. I've also been a part of an organization called The Gap, which is Girls Against Pornography, for the last few years. And unfortunately, pornography has just touched so many people's lives and destroyed so many families and marriages, and it's playing a large role in introducing many teenagers to sex. And that's very concerning to me that children and teenagers are learning about sex through pornography because, like the American Academy of Pediatrics states, it's not at all accurate of what sex is and how God intended it to be between a married woman and a man. It's removing intimacy. And if a relationship is built on sexual behaviors only, married couples can testify that it won't last very long.
Right. It's distressing, but is there hope? Is there a silver lining in all this?
Absolutely. There is actually a recent report that the government did recently. They did a survey to both parents and to teenagers asking them about sex education, and a large percentage of teenagers said that they felt that they would be able to say no and make the decision to be abstinent if they had received the proper amount of support and encouragement and education. And they also said that the number one role model for them in their life would be their parents. And so that really spoke loudly of how important it is that parents speak out. I think that we get so caught up in, okay, they're going to be influenced by their friends and their school and everyone else in their life and the media, which is very true, which means that it's even more critical that parents speak out louder and that they leave those doors open and let their kids know, hey, I'm here for you, let's talk.
Mm-hmm. And I think this needs to be a big wake-up call for parents, too, that they have to model that behavior, because there's no excuses anymore that, some of those magazines are okay for dad to have in the bathroom. There is just no excuses anymore, especially in a Christian home. Say, get that out of here. There needs to be no access to it on the internet. It has to be modeled by the parents so that the kids don't get the impression that, well, if it's okay for mom or dad, I guess it's okay for me too.
Absolutely. I think that is a big role, and if a parent is struggling with viewing pornography, it's also important that they realize that they need to get help. A lot of people are addicted to pornography out there, and unfortunately, sometimes it is hard for them just to say, I'm not going to look at this anymore. They need to take it very seriously and to realize that it's not just a decision that impacts them, but it is impacting everyone that they love in their life, whether or not they think that their children or spouse know that they are viewing pornography. I think it's also very important that parents realize that the internet is very powerful, and even if you think that your child knows better, you need to have filters on every single computer that your child could possibly have access to, even your young children. Mm-hmm. My 4-year-old has filters galore because even if they're innocent, they can innocently pop or click on something that can lead to somewhere else. I think that's very important. My new book, Dreams, which is actually a romantic suspense novel, the main character is able to go throughout her journey, and she's no saint for sure, but she is able to remain abstinent, and it shows that powerful love stories occur when people make the decision to say, I want what is best for my life, and choosing this for myself is saying, I know what love is, and I know what love is not, and love is not allowing someone else to use my body for their ego or their gratification so that I can hear the words, I love you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a great point. Brittany, I would imagine that you've got a ton of other resources available on your website, because we've mentioned a lot of categories where parents might be thinking, man, that has convicted me to the heart. You know, whether it's a parent that is caught up in pornography and needs a way out, if they need some tools in talking to their kids, if they need that word of encouragement, reading a book that's going to just prompt their heart to say, you know what, purity is something that God values as beautiful, and it is for my benefit, not as a punishment. How do they get in touch with you?
They can look me up on the web at www.brittanyglynn.com, and Brittany is Brittany, Glynn is Glynn. And so brittanyglynn.com. They can also find my book Dreams at Amazon or anywhere that books are sold. And they can email me through my website if they have any questions about pornography or teen abstinence, how to speak to the teens in their life. If you have questions that I can't answer, I will certainly get you to someone who can. And to learn more information in this area, they can also look up The Gap, girlsagainstporn.com.
Girlsagainstporn.com, so it's just GAP.com?
It is actually girlsagainstporn.com.
Written out, girlsagainstporn.com. So great resources, and also the primary web address, brittanyglynn.com, BrittanyGlynn.com. Brittany, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
I appreciate you and your ministry. Thank you again.